Saturday, October 25th, 08:54 a.m. New York time. Welcome back, investors, to Winning Wall Street's Money. Next week is the last week of the month of October. Also, Wednesday is the big event, FOMC meeting from the Federal Reserve to vote on interest rates. So since we'll be finishing the first month of the last quarter of the year, and we're very close to the end of the month, we're going to look at the major stock indexes and the stock sectors on a monthly time frame, help us determine trade ideas, leadership sectors. First, we'll start with the stock indexes. S&P 500, all-time new high, outstanding, strong like bull. NASDAQ 100, all-time new high. Again, NASDAQ 100 is an index inside the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is comprised of several indexes. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, all-time new high. It is also inside the S&P 500. So that being said, you have multiple companies that have their stocks listed on different indexes. If those companies are the large weighted ones and they feel they have a big effect on many stock indexes, that's a big negative effect they will have. I shared that video yesterday on the Magnificent 7. Good insight. The Dow Jones Transport, 20 companies in this index. It's below the highs of 2021. It's below the highs of this year. It has not made all-time new high. It went red this week. It's part of the S&P 500. Dow Jones Utility, 15 companies, all-time new high. Part of the S&P 500. The Russell 2000, new high. It is not part of the S&P 500. 2,000 companies, small cap ones, big different in values than the Dow Jones. So we identified here, most of them, indexes here, are all-time new high. Let's go look at the sectors, because in the S&P 500, this stock index is 11 sectors. So you could look to invest in this sector to outperform the S&P 500. They're stock ETFs. Technology. Again, the stock ETF is XLK, and you could go to that stock ETF and look at the companies inside of it. It's very similar to the NASDAQ 100. All-time new high. Healthcare, not all-time high, below the highs of last year, below the highs of this year. Yeah, even though we're trending up, the momentum's up this year off the lows, we're below the highs of last year, underperforming many of the other ones I showed you. Financials. Last month was the all-time high. This month, lower high, lower low. Consumer discretionary. Currently, all the volatility for this whole month, we have not taken out the high or low of last month, which is the new high. It's a yellow candle. Simply means we haven't taken out the high or low of the prior candle. That's going to be interesting. If it closes like that, I would check back at the end of the month, because that could be a potential reversal. Communication services, same thing. Look at that. Last month was the all-time new high. This month, inside candle. Good insight. You want to get better insight? You go to all the companies inside the stock ETF and see if they're performing better or worse. It will help you understand the leadership is in that sector. Industrial, all-time new high, outstanding. Little tiny trading ranges up here too. Might be weakness. Consumer staples, not all-time high, below the highs of last year, underperforming. Lower high, lower low this month. That is consumer staples, not healthy. Actually, let's update this. This was the low for the year. Update that. 75.61. Okay, that was house maintenance. Let's continue. Energy. Red for the month. Lower high, lower low. Below the highs of 2014. Below the highs of last year. Yeah. And this month again, lower low, lower high. Underperforming energy. Is your utility lower? Mine or not. All-time new highs. The wattage. The kilowatts. I use less electricity, but the regulatory body in my state voted to approve electric rate hike. So the kilowatts is a higher fee per usage. The struggle's real. Utilities, all-time new high. Real estate, no surprise, way below the highs of 2021, below the highs of last year. Basic materials for the month, lower high, lower low, and below the highs of last year. Again, another one underperforming. There you go. You got to look at the major stock indexes, the stock sectors, much more situation awareness, what's happening in the economy. Thank you as always, spending just a little time with me. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching.